At Camillus, everywhere you turn, you'll find examples of folks generously responding to the blessings God has entrusted to them. This parish family is gifted with so much talent. So many people investing their energy, creativity, leadership, along with their financial resources into this community. So the mission Jesus came to proclaim, the coming of the kingdom, might become more a reality in our time. Each year we share with you some of the new ventures Camillus parishioners have created. It's our way of celebrating what God's Spirit has accomplished through this spiritual family, while showing a few of the new ways your generous financial commitment this past year has borne fruit. The mission of church is to form disciples for our Lord, disciples that go out to be God's heart and hands in this world. Over the last 8 years, our St. Francis Builds program has had 16 overseas mission trips to 8 different countries. This past year, our commitment to solidarity and to education took us to Nicaragua to complete a school we began last year with the organization Seeds of Learning. Our commitment to be a church in mission took us for the first time to New Orleans, to a community devastated by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. What many do not realize is that 9 years after the storm, many families are still waiting for assistance. This past year, we took 2 trips in January and October to partner with the St. Bernard's Project, a charity devoted to returning folks to their homes. 44 people, ranging in ages from 16 to 86 from Camillus, went to do reconstruction. We are called to be a church that seeks to be in solidarity with brothers and sisters who know firsthand the scourge of poverty. This coming spring, we will send a mission team to Pine Ridge, South Dakota, to the poorest county in the United States, where 97% of the Native American Sioux population lives below the poverty line, and 4 out of 5 people are out of work. They will work side by side with our brothers and sisters on some projects they've identified as very important within their community. Our own youth had their first mission trip last July, this one to rural Mississippi. There they partnered with an African American Catholic community in an enriching experience of spirituality, cultural bridge building, and community improvement. The trip was such a success. Another group will be traveling there this summer. But one of our most important missions is right here in our parish, in the neighborhood of Langley Park, an area largely populated by newer immigrants, primarily from Guatemala and Salvador. Each week, 600 of us enter into the gymnasium of the school we rent for a joyous celebration of the Eucharist. Thanks to your generous financial commitment, we're able to purchase a new, much-needed sound system for the Eucharist, so the liturgy can be celebrated with the dignity it deserves. We rent additional school space each week for our faith formation classes for children and youth. Our Langley Park office also has a full-time staff person and volunteer social workers to provide support to all those in need of assistance, from getting a license to securing medical care for their children, to handling issues in school and many other challenges. We have English as a second language classes both day and evening. We offer computer classes and have purchased 8 new computers for this purpose. We also have a food pantry open to all in need, staffed by members of the Langley Park community and others from our partnering churches. Our deep commitment to the community of Langley Park has led St Camillus to raise some serious concerns about the construction of the Purple Line light rail that will cut straight through the heart of the neighborhood. As a Franciscan parish, we're very concerned about the environment and very supportive of increasing options for mass transit in our area. But we're also very concerned that this project will price out the very people whom it could most benefit, as we've seen happen all over the Washington area. We want to be a proactive voice for our people, working with other groups to bring our government officials to the table to have a serious discussion about providing affordable housing for people in our area.
There are many immigrants who suffer because of the lack of work, of medical care, and inadequate economic and educational opportunities.
To assist us in being a force for change in the area, especially in the area of affordable housing, we've joined with other faith communities and become members of Action in Montgomery, a community organizing group focused on issues important to the people of our area. Issues such as affordable housing, neighborhood revitalization, and immigrant rights. We at Camillus benefited from their efforts when 3 years ago our Victory Housing was constructed. While most of the money came from the federal government, $1 million of the construction came from Montgomery County, from a fund whose creation aim was influential in getting established. We are hopeful that our collaboration with them will allow us to work for more affordable housing in our community and to help us to more effectively advocate for other issues that are important in the lives of our people. In the area of justice, peace, and integrity creation, we focus many of our efforts on clean water. The St Camillus campus is 17 acres, and most of that is comprised of impervious surfaces, parking lots, roofs, driveways. Rain falling on these surfaces and the hillsides cannot seep back into the ground. It runs off into the storm sewers of the northwest branch of the Anacostia, the Potomac, eventually into the Chesapeake Bay, carrying pollutants and causing erosion and flooding. During Maryland Day to Serve Week, more than 85 volunteers spent 2 Saturdays digging garden beds and planting nearly 400 shrubs and plants to slow this runoff from our property. It was a thing of joy to watch those 2 weekends, to see members of all our community working shoulder to shoulder so that we may be more deeply the community God calls us to be, one that is good stewards of the creation entrusted to us. Additionally, a multicultural busload of our parishioners went to join other civic and faith communities to clean up garbage in the Anacostia River, some of which flows from storm drains in our neighborhood. Nor were our efforts on clean water limited to concern about clean water in this country alone. We are greatly concerned about how mining practices of multinational corporations are polluting drinking sources of water for the people of El Salvador and other countries. A busload of our people, many missing a day of work, went to the World Bank to be a voice for the voiceless in opposing these practices. One of the highlights of this past year was the inauguration of our Families on a Mission program. Families from African, Latino, and Anglo communities gathered for a weekend retreat. Each family had time to deepen their relationship with themselves and with other families in the parish. These relationships then flowed into these families creating together a beautiful spiritual center on these grounds. They built a labyrinth that is used daily for meditative walks by folks in the parish. It was amazing how much the kids loved doing it, and loved doing it as a family. And fun and laughter, there was no shortage of that as well. People just seemed to enjoy being and working together. We launched a new ministry to provide more spiritual, social, and educational opportunities for our seniors, entitled Helping Our Seniors to SOAR. Our kickoff meeting was packed, as we had a speaker helping our people to navigate the complicated changes in the new Medicaid law. Our seniors are a very treasured part of our community, and part of our mission is to work to see that their needs are attended to. A key piece of our ministry to feed the hungry is accomplished through our many parishioners who work delivering Meals on Wheels to seniors who are shut in. Another way we serve the hungry is through our food pantries here and in Langley Park. This past year we reorganized our parish spaces to allow this ministry the space it needs to do this important work and do it well. As a result, we've tripled the size of our operational space. Volunteers also went to the USDA farms and gleaned produce so that families in need could have fresh vegetables. So far this year, we've served over 8,000 families, already exceeding our total for all of 2013. Desirous of living more fully the call of our Lord when He said, "I was in prison and you visited me." Camillus has become part of the ecumenical Kairos prison ministry in our area. Working in teams with Christian brothers and sisters, parishioners this past year helped to lead 3 retreats in the maximum security prison in which over 120 men had a powerful encounter with the risen Lord, feeling God's love, forgiveness, and the hope of new possibilities for their future. At St Camillus, evangelization is an important part of our mission. This past July, our French African community sought to bring people closer to our Lord through a very powerful 4-day evangelization retreat. That same month, in our Latino community, 147 missionaries knocked on 3,500 doors, had visits with over 500 families, of whom 87 went on a 4-day retreat. Today, 73 of them meet weekly in small-based communities. Camillus is a large, dynamic, complicated place with a small but dedicated staff that somehow makes it all work. Your financial commitment to our mission has allowed us to add 2 new staff persons. The first was Joelle Happy, a longtime member of our French African community, who was hired so we can better serve the unique needs of that very important part of our family. In addition, we hired Brian Carrera to be Director of Operations and Formation for Mission. St Camillus is an amazing place because the people of this parish have so generously shared their talents, their creativity, their leadership, and their financial resources, and in doing so have created a vessel into which God has poured an overabundance of grace, grace that flows through us out into the world in furtherance of the mission that Jesus Christ came to proclaim, but in our time, in our place. By placing our talents and resources at the service of His Spirit, they are multiplied in ways beyond our imagination, but not beyond God's. Because by sharing our talents, by committing financially to this mission, we are collaborators in the coming of the kingdom Jesus came to proclaim. It is for this reason we do church. It is for this reason we were created. It is for this mission we were commissioned.